In the year 61 AD, the largest city in Roman Britain was on fire. Londinium, a city of 30,000, burned so completely that archaeologists can still find the layer of red ash beneath modern London. Shops, temples, homes, all of it consumed. The people who couldn't flee were cut down in the streets. Women, children, the elderly. No mercy, no prisoners. The Roman army was 200 miles away, and the person who had done this, who had burned 3 cities, killed 70,000 Romans and made an empire tremble, was not a general, not a king. She was a mother. Her name was Boudica, and everything she did because Rome made the one mistake no empire should ever make. They underestimated a woman with nothing left to lose. Boudica was born around 30 AD into the Celtic nobility of eastern Britain. Her people, the Iceni, controlled the fertile lands of what is now Norfolk, wealthy in grain, horses, and gold. Celtic women held power that Roman women could only dream of. They owned property. They led armies. They divorced husbands who displeased them. When Boudica married Prasutagus, the king of the Iceni, she became queen of one of the most powerful tribes in Britain. For 17 years they ruled together, not as conquerors, but as clients of Rome. A deal. Pay your tributes, keep your crown. Rome wanted obedience, not war. And Prasutagus gave them exactly that. It was a life of compromise, of quiet dignity beneath the shadow of eagles. In 60 AD, Prasutagus died. His will was carefully crafted, half the kingdom to Emperor Nero, half to his 2 daughters. A diplomatic solution. Rome ignored it entirely. The procurator Catus Decianus arrived with soldiers and bureaucrats. They declared the entire Iceni kingdom Roman property. Nobles were stripped of their lands. Free men were enslaved. And then, the act that would burn an empire. Roman soldiers seized Boudica. They stripped her naked before her own people. They flogged her until her back was raw, and her 2 daughters, teenagers, were dragged away and raped by Roman soldiers. This was not war. This was humiliation. A message. You are nothing. Your blood is nothing. Your crown means nothing. Rome made Boudica watch. They thought it would break her. They created a monster instead. Boudica did not grieve quietly. She raised an army. The Iceni came first, every man and woman who could hold a weapon. Then the Trinovantes, a neighboring tribe whose lands had been stolen for a Roman veteran colony at Camulodunum. Then others, tribe after tribe. They came for revenge. They came because Rome had taken everything. The army swelled, 100,000, perhaps more. And their first target was Camulodunum, modern Colchester. The Roman colony had no walls. The veterans were old, arrogant, unprepared. Boudica's army swept through the city like a wave. The temple of Claudius, symbol of Roman divine authority, burned for 2 days. The 9th Legion marched south to help. Boudica ambushed them on the road. The entire infantry, 2,000 men, was annihilated. The cavalry commander fled with his horsemen. A Roman legion destroyed by a woman. The empire had not seen anything like it in a generation. Next came Londinium. The governor, Suetonius Paulinus, had raced back from Wales when he heard the news. He reached London, assessed the situation, and made the coldest decision of his career. He could not hold the city. He ordered the evacuation of all who could march with his army. The rest, the old, the sick, the women who could not travel, he left behind. Boudica arrived and found a city full of defenseless people. What followed was not a battle. It was an execution. 70,000 dead across 3 cities. Londinium burned so hot that the ground turned red. Verulamium fell next, a city that had allied itself with Rome, betraying its own British blood. Boudica burned it to ash. 3 Roman cities. Gone. In the space of weeks, one woman had done more damage to the Roman Empire than any army in a century. Suetonius Paulinus was no fool. He chose his battlefield. A narrow valley, forest behind his 10,000 legionaries, open ground ahead. The Romans would not be flanked. They would not be surrounded. They would fight on their terms. Boudica's army arrived, 100,000 strong, perhaps more. Families came to watch the victory, wagons and carts parked in a great crescent behind the warriors. Boudica rode before them in her chariot, her 2 daughters beside her. She gave a speech that Tacitus remembered. She told them she fought not as a queen defending her wealth, but as an ordinary woman, avenging her lost freedom, her whipped body, and the ruined innocence of her daughters. The Britons charged, and the Romans held. The Roman line did not break. 10,000 disciplined soldiers in tight formation, shields locked, short swords stabbing, against a wave of fury. The narrow ground neutralized Boudica's numbers. The Britons could not flank. They could not use their chariots. And when the Roman line advanced, step by step, the Britons began to fall back into their own wagons. The escape route was blocked. Men, women, children, trapped between Roman blades and their own carts. Tacitus says 80,000 Britons died that day. The number may be exaggerated. The slaughter was not. Boudica escaped the battlefield, but there was nowhere left to go. According to Tacitus, she took poison. According to Cassius Dio, she fell ill and died. Either way, she was gone. Her body was never found. Her grave remains unknown to this day. Rome nearly lost Britain because of one woman. After the revolt, Nero considered withdrawing from the island entirely. The cost had been too great. Instead, the next governor adopted softer policies, fewer floggings, fewer seizures, more diplomacy. Boudica had changed how Rome governed. For 17 centuries, she was forgotten. Then the Victorians rediscovered her and turned her into Britannia herself. In 1902, a bronze statue was erected on Westminster Bridge, Boudica in her war chariot, daughters beside her, spear raised against the sky. She stands there still, staring at the Houses of Parliament. The Romans who humiliated her are dust. Their empire is gone. But Boudica watches over London, the city she burned to the ground, and she will never leave.